My name is Moses Ladu, and I'm a farmer of green pepper. I do a variety of vegetables. I do cabbages and tomatoes. But today I wanted to talk mainly about green pepper because we have many farmers that are facing challenges with the green pepper that they are growing. And we have discovered that many of these challenges can be solved if they can just put a few things into practice. We have issues of the seed. There's a lot of counterfeit seed on the market, but if you can get a reliable supplier that you can access who will give you the best seed, there are varieties of companies that are credible, varieties of companies like Syngenta that personally that I use as a farmer, and they are proven to be productive, they are proven to be tolerant to the wilt, and the main challenges that we face as farmers, the drought tolerance, these varieties are proven to be effective in that. As we raise pepper in the nursery bed, if you've got good reliable seed, you're assured of germination because they will give you the assurance of the percentage of germination that you should expect. And when pepper is germinating, you can first start by breaking the dormancy because pepper is a seed that takes a bit longer to germinate, unlike the tomatoes and the cabbages. And if you can break the dormancy in several ways. You can soak it in water overnight before sowing the next day, or you can dip it in hot water for about 30 minutes and then remove it and put it in cold water, then dry them and then do the sowing. Now, when after sowing, we expect the pepper to spend about a month in the nursery. As we're doing that, we are preparing our field for planting. I do pepper at a spacing of 60 by 60 centimeters, that is 2 feet by 2 feet. And when I'm making my hole, I dig it about a foot across and then soften that soil inside the hole. We shouldn't make holes of vegetable seeds, of vegetable seedlings like for cereals, because the seedlings that come from the nursery bed have tender roots which are not strong enough to go into the hard soils. So we soften that soil, and then if you can access well-decomposed manure, emphasis on well-decomposed, because if it's just cow dung, it is still creating some bit of heat and it may scorch our seedlings. So if you can access well-decomposed manure, we can put a half a spade per hole, mix it properly with the soil, and we do that 1 week before transplanting. Now, on the day of transplanting, I'll buy a rooting fertilizer. I'll use DAP at a rate of 10 grams per hole. I'll come, apply my DAP, and then cover it with some soil, a minimum of 5 centimeters of soil onto the DAP. You can measure that by using your small finger, and then if you push it into the soil, if you feel you're touching the DAP before your finger has disappeared into the soil, that means you've placed the soil you've placed on top of the DAP is not sufficient. And if it's not sufficient, you may scorch the seedling. So we don't want a seedling to be scorched. So you have to put a sufficient level of soil on top of your fertilizer. If it is a dry season and you're doing dry planting, apply at least 2 liters of water into the hole. If it's wet and it has been raining, the water is not necessary. Now, after that, we do the sowing. You do the planting, plant your seedling, make sure you farm it properly, and then we shall wait for a week. And after a week, we believe it has established in the soil. Then we shall start fungal control. Fungal control in vegetables, we don't wait to notice the fungal diseases. We start preventive measures early enough. The recommendations that I use on my farm, I use copper oxychloride and mancozeb. I use them alternatively, in that in this week if I apply copper, next week I apply mancozeb. And that I do in that way to prevent resistance being gained by the fungus. 2 weeks after planting, I come and do my top dress. Now, for a fruiting vegetable like the pepper that I grow, I encourage the use of corn, or I use corn personally as a top dress. Now, can, I place my can 10 centimeters away from the plant and at a rate of 5 grams per plant. How do I measure the 10 centimeters? I just use my palm, place it on the ground, away from the plant, dig a hole and pour my 5 grams of can into that hole and ensure that it is covered. 5 grams is a cover. I use the cover of this mineral water bottle, flattened without a head. For the 10 grams of DAP, that same bottle cover would have a head. Now, 2 weeks after application of that top dress, I come to help in the formation of my fruits and flowers, because the can helps in the formation of the leaves and branches. Now I come to ensure that I get good fruits and good flowers. When we start harvesting, like I said, we have to respect the pre-harvest intervals. So if you know you've applied the chemical, please ensure that you pass the number of days before you harvest, the number of days that are recommended before you do the harvesting. Now, I harvest my Indra pepper for a period of even up to 10 months. But how do I do it and how do I keep it effective? It is that when I do my harvesting, I make sure I do weeding and then top dress again. When I do that, it brings up more fruits, it starts afresh, and I find you can harvest this pepper for even up to 10 months. Pepper, you know, like most vegetables, the prices keep going up and down. But even in the worst of times, at least I'm sure of getting 45,000 per bag. And in a week, I find that I will harvest about 100 bags. And then when I take them to a market like Nakasero, I find that I'm making some very good money. But then, in most times, the price ranges between 90,000 up to 130,000. My future plans are to expand. I want to have some greenhouse varieties, because I'm targeting also the export market. These open varieties of ours, there are some pests that attack them, and the damages that they may cause will limit the chance of that crop being onto the export market.